sense now. Oh yeah, Mike. Oh yeah.
All right, all right, all right.
All right, all right, all right.
Well, first of all, I should say, how's it going?
It's going. I'm feeling pretty good. More so than usual.
Nice.
Something about being real sick and then overcoming it is just like it was a cleansing.
You forget
to be
how-
honest.
You forget how amazing it is just to feel normal after you feel bad for such a long time.
Yeah, and I'm also finding myself being able to pay attention to my body a lot more too.
Really?
Yeah, when you get food poisoning, man, you just evacuate your system. You ever pissed out of your asshole before? Because
Yeah.
I did
Yeah, no.
for about 12 hours
I was actually just doing that as well because of Robitussin.
Oh boy.
Because that's really the only side effect I get from Robitussin. It's a great cough drug.
Robo tripping. Careful with that.
Oh.
Get on that SERP, you know.
So I got this new carbon fiber bow. Well, I broke my other bow. I sat on it, and I glued it, and then it came apart of it.
The best of poles and rods.
So cool.
Sounds beautiful.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, we might have to redo the intro.
We're gonna-
from the mandolin to the
Yeah.
violin.
Or like, why not both? JPG.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And the bass.
Oh yeah.
For sure. I'm so sad because we figured out the right bass notes to accompany it that one day, and then I didn't write them down, but it should be pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I toyed around with the idea. I think the beats were throwing me off. I was trying to overcomplicate it too. So I think like a doom, 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 doom
Yeah.
would be a nice little bass line.
Yeah. Yeah, the one we came up with before, I remember most of it. It was like do, 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 something like that.
Something like that.
Something like that. I was listening to some really funky, some of the best, funkiest bass is like, they don't overdo it. They'll throw in a few spicy notes, but then there's like a kind of a long rest.
Oh yeah, you think so? I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. Like I love what's that guy's name? Neon something. I feel special for not remembering it.
Yeah.
But he's up there, you know.
Oh shit! I'm not even recording these microphones, dude.
Props.
This is why we have backups. I
Don't
need to see that sweet waveform.
pay attention to it the whole time, though. Stop staring at it.
What music were you talking about?
You're doing it. You're staring at
I'm
it.
not looking. My eyes are up here.
Tooth grind jabs.
Jesus
My eyes are up
Christ.
here. Never mind the glitter on my tits. My eyes are up here.
Saddam, oh Satan.
It's a wicked flashback to the South Park movie.
Oh, Saddam. Actually, that song, I'm going to go out. This is similar to my Disney song tangents, but because it's a musical.
We've done this.
Dude, the Up There.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so good. Anyway, dude, what song were you talking about? You said you had a song with bass as an example, because I've got an example with bass.
Oh, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I love like proggy stuff, and the bass lines are pretty intense and
Oh, yeah.
very complicated.
Yeah.
Like few bands, I would say, are like Animals as leaders. Who else has really complicated bassy parts? Oh, I enjoy kind of the staccato stuff from this band called Tesseract.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're like math metal.
Oh, when I went to RPI, there was an awesome math metal band. Not math metal, just a math band. That's the first time I'd ever heard of it. They're cool.
Yeah, yeah, for
Very
sure.
cool. Math is cool. You know what else was cool there with math is we did infinite series, which we didn't really study at my other engineering school as much. Very interesting. There's like a series, if you do like 1/2 plus 1/3 plus 1/4 plus 1/5 or whatever forever, there's like all these variations of those.
Mm.
There's all these things that can only be expressed that way in math. Like there's no equation or like other number that can express that except for infinite series.
Very nice.
You know, it might be this chord. It was very hard to insert.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Got him. Oh my god. Anyway. Oh yeah, so I was listening to a bunch of music. I was listening to Steel Pulse, Stepping Out. It's like stepping out. Boom. Da, 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 da. I don't know if you've listened to much reggae, but I was listening to the bass today.
I do actually.
Oh, you do? Oh,
Secret reggae fan. Not a lot of people would assume that of me.
Dude,
I like politically charged reggae. Ironically, I don't like politically charged stuff most of the time, but for reggae, I don't know. Like, have you ever heard of Soja?
I don't think. Not that it doesn't ring a bell, but maybe if I heard the songs.
Oh, actually, yes. I brought him up before. The guy, Bobby Lee, the bass player from Soja. They're politically charged reggae. I enjoy.
Nice. Yeah, there's some. Yeah, like Dropkick Murphys does good political music, and so does reggae. Reggae is like music with a message, which is why my friend Big Mike liked it.
Big Mike?
Big Steve.
Oh, shit, Steve.
There's Big Steve and Little Steve.
Steve. You ever watch that movie, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs?
No.
The monkey's name is Steve, and he's got like this voice translator, so his monkey talk comes out as human talk, and that's what he says most of the time.
Nice.
Steve. Oh goodness.
Yeah, but you've heard Steel Pulse, right?
I'm sure I have.
The cover is like all politics. It's like all these despot rulers, and like stuff that's like happening in the day. But yeah, no, it just popped up on my feed. I'd never really listened to a lot before, but man, it's a track. And the bass I was listening to it is like bow 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 bow. So and then it's like a long pause. Boo boo, doo doo doo. And it gives room for the rest of the music. So it doesn't feel boring because there's all these other instruments happening. Mm-hmm. And unless you paid attention, you wouldn't even realize the bass is so selective. So
interesting.
Yeah, it goes pretty hard. I was also listening to so like 99% of music is I was learning about beats recently because I've always loved beats, but I've never studied them at all. And so in American music, most Western, or I don't know, I guess Western music. Anyway, most like modern rock and jazz, which is where most modern Western music comes from. Yeah. The snare is on the 2 and the 4. So it's like, you know, like Billie Jean, like boom, boom, ch, boom, 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 ch, boom, 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 ch. Like 99% of music is like that. And so I was just paying attention to all the music I was listening to, and I was like, oh yeah, pretty much everything has. I mean, there's some variation. I'd say 90% has that, but then I was listening to 3 6 Mafia sipping on some syrup. Or was it yeah, but they have snare on the 3. And that's it. And it makes it feel heavier because it makes it feel like a slower rhythm. Right. And the slower rhythms really get that heavy, nice, substantial feel to them. It's pretty cool. Anywho. Yeah, that was fun with Eric.
Yeah. I only wished I probably should have spoke up, but I only wished he would done his action moves towards the camera. I noticed that a lot of it was facing us, which is, you know, he was storytelling to us and the folks at home, so understandable.
So funny, he's like, I've never been on TV before.
Welcome.
You can tell because I was actually noticing that like people when they're acting even if they're standing next to each other and talking to each other, they're looking like towards the camera, you know?
Right, they're fixated on it.
Yeah. I was watching the Californians SNL skit. I'm like, I don't know, Stuart. Take the 10 and get out of here. The 405 where you belong. All right, let's go. Oh, I've got props today.
You got props? All right. Let's get physical. Physical.
That was stuck in my head the other day, dude. Madonna was good. I'm a sucker.
Whoa! Don't cut the cord.
I'm like a teenage '80s girl at heart.
I'm just a teenage dirtbag baby.
So this is the vegetable.
Oh, it's a vegetable knife.
Oh, it's very thin.
Very thin, a precise cut.
Seriously, I got this at a thrift store, and I couldn't believe how easy it was to cut with it. I was like, what the heck? Like, you barely even have to have it sharp. And it's because it's thin, like a normal chef's knife is like at least twice as thick.
Yeah.
And even if with the sharpest edge you can make on it, it's still, because it's so thick, like you're pushing things apart. And it's heavy, and like, this is like, so it's like a Japanese samurai. It's nimble, it's light, cuts effortlessly. And it's like, what do you need? And it's like, really, the only reason I heard that people actually have chef's knives so heavy is so you can cut through like chicken bones when you're doing like whole chickens and stuff or something, which I've never.
You probably want a cleaver at that rate.
Right.
But
I mean, this one is actually, I mean, all my stuff comes from thrift stores, but I like this one actually more than most chef's knives are taller than this and don't have like as nice of a shaped handle.
Right.
So I was pretty happy with that. So, you know, these are 2 vegetable knives.
That looks like it had a different handle on it at one point. The tang, it comes up above the handle.
Yeah, it's an interesting design for sure. And it's, but yeah, this is Korean.
Korean.
Oh.
Korean barbecue is so good.
So good. I was adding fish sauce to my beef, which is like very good, like
Hell
Asian
yeah.
style.
Hell yeah.
And Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
That's-
Worcestershire. Worcestershire.
Very advanced. Yeah, no, they're both similar. Worcestershire is sort of like fish flavor. It's very similar realm. It's like salty and
it's
tangy.
salty. Yeah.
I've been doing that to beef, and it's been good. I've been cooking onion and beef and then adding that sauce.
Yeah, that's the thing about beef is it's more savory, and it definitely needs some salting. Unlike pork, which could probably use some salt extraction, and so sometimes it still gets real salty.
Yeah, no, but you were right. I was cooking beef and I didn't need butter. You were right. It's like when you have 80-20 beef, it's like you don't need any oil. It's the perfect amount.
Yeah, especially if you like start off low just to melt that fat and then you can sear. Yeah, I mean, you just
perfect.
yeah, hell yeah.
So yeah, these just I'm not sure what I guess depending on what you're cutting, it's nice to have one taller than the other. But they're both just very thin blades and made for vegetables. And I never knew these knives existed until I was like 30 or something. And because like most people will have the chef's knife and then like these smaller knives with like the little curve in it. But most people don't really have like a straight vegetable knife. So
We got a fancy anodized set.
nice.
Got that jet fuel color going on, black handles, all sorts of knives. Paring knife,
I love paring knives. I use that all the time.
vegetable, bread knife, big old thick son of a bastard.
Nice. Yeah, no, it's just like, it's crazy. It literally is no effort to cut with it. It's the most satisfying thing.
We need to watch that. I think you pulled that out on a previous episode. and-
Sealed in the box. Yeah, I did. Probably Joe Dirt 1 and 2. Came with my $1,500 Tacoma that was halfway rusted into the ground way back in the woods.
Worth it though, just for that.
This is the natural habitat. of
Listen, you know, I'm not sure if this will pass inspection, but here's your bonus.
You got Joe Dirt 2.
1 and 2. The classic and the lesser known sequel.
I know. I don't even know if I've seen the sequel, really.
I have not.
Yeah. That girl's pretty cute in the first one.
What was her name? I can't remember. All I remember is she had like a Lara Croft outfit. She had like hiking boots and shorty shorts.
Mm-hmm. Christopher Walken.
Yeah. You're talking to my friend all wrong. Say it like that again, I'll stab you in the face with a soldering iron.
Oh, God. Wow, I guess the double movie doesn't have enough room to say who the people are on it. It's crazy. Wow.
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 Wow, wow.
Speaking of that, what about cats teasing?
Cats teasing. The biggest thing that they do is like being a newly like a born again cat owner, because I had cats when I was growing up, and I was like, like that was my introductory pet, so I was cool with it. Once I owned dogs, I preferred them, and now I'm back to owning a cat because that's all that's allowed in our apartment, and the kids really got talked in by their mother to persuading dad into having a cat again. This cat's not bad. It's very dog-like, but it has those same cat instincts, and cat teasing is one of them. They're constantly underfoot, but the moment you pick them up, they don't want to be held. They're very much like, love me, leave me alone. Love me, leave me alone.
Pat me, I'm going to bite you.
Yeah, they're little shitheads for sure. Oh, man.
Yeah, it's interesting. They got those crazy eyes. You better look out. My friend had a cat that would hunt him at nighttime, Dylan. So he was afraid to go to the bathroom.
Because of cat's eyes?
He would show you his calves, and there would be like scars up and down his legs.
Just random cat attacks?
His cat, if he tried to go to the bathroom at night, his cat would hunt him. Like try to kill his legs.
Yeah, they get a little spastic.
Oh, that's so funny.
And the claws.
Because he never got to go outside. Luckily, our cat's got to be indoors and outdoor.
Yeah.
But he's down in the suburbs, so he had to be inside all day. So that was his only prey and energy release was to hunt his.
Yeah, ours is not an outdoor cat, but it's got plenty of toys and scratching posts where we can kind of mitigate the feline zoomies, so to speak.
Like a string or like a.
Oh yeah, little fishing pole
Yeah.
there. It's got enough bounce in it, so if she like bats at it, it'll boing away.
Does he go like this? Does she go like this?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's the laser. The laser's the funniest. We just circles, get her dizzy, and then she just stops. And when I was younger, I had a cat that I. This is specifically why I said, Dad's getting a laser pointer. It's only for me. It's my toy with the cat. So with my cat, when I was younger, I would make her do laps to build up speed around around the coffee table.
Yeah.
And then I'd see how far after she had built up speed she could go up the wall. And the cat almost touched the ceiling a couple times. Like, I swear to God, like That's 8 feet up. Like, wow.
Charge up the cat.
Yep.
Nice.
Good times. This one is not so much of a jumper. She'll definitely chase that laser, but...
How old is she? Where'd you get her?
Springfield Humane Society, and I think she's about 8 or 9 months now.
Oh, okay. That's not too bad.
Oh, wait. Maybe I'm misinformed. I don't know. Susie would have to tell you. She's good with birthdays. I'm not. The only reason I remember my mom's birthday is because my daughter's is the same day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I rarely remember people's birthdays. Thanks, Facebook.
I only know my mom's
birthday. Keeping me in the loop.
So, cats teasing. Yeah, no, it's fun. Have you seen cat traps, like the little boxes? Like, if you have a box that's like this tall, but the size of a cat length and width, like, like that files come in.
You can use
or like paper
cans, Like a 6-pack of cans is a good size. Our cat gets stuck in the seltzer boxes all the time.
If you have like a cat that like sits on your keyboard or like gets in your way when you're trying to like read or do something, you can just put a cat trap, like a half-empty box.
And they can't get
They
out.
can't
They'll dive
resist.
in. Yeah.
They can't resist it.
I don't know what it is, but yes, cats love to dive into boxes.
Yeah, it's like
The felines, man, there's something else.
I mean, they're a pure killing machine that also love to purr.
They're lazy spazzes.
They certainly can be, although they can be the opposite too. I was listening to that Lion Sleeps Tonight. It was like in my head earlier. And I was thinking about it like there really are lions. Jungle. Dude, there really are lions sleeping in the jungle.
There are.
They're just chilling and napping in there. All right. So. Aren't they like plains animals though? Do they live in the jungle, or is that more like panthers?
That is true. Actual like lion habitats are typically like the Serengeti plains in Africa is like where the majority of them are. I don't think they live in jungles. That's more reserved for leopards and panthers.
Yeah.
Disney misinforming us all the time. They got in the Jungle Book, they got a tiger that lives in the jungle. Tigers, last I checked, they don't really live in the jungle. And then they got the Lion King where lions are in the jungle. No. False advertisement.
Did you hear the story about those kids that got lost in the jungle the other day?
No, did they make it out?
Yeah.
Whoa, good for them.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I was listening to somebody, I forget who it was or where it was. It was on like some podcast or something. And they were talking to some like younger people. And they were telling them about like the 90s. And the kid was like, "Oh, are you talking about the 1900s?" It's like, fuck.
Yeah, man, why you gotta remind us that we've been through 2 centuries?
It's like, holy shit. It's like way back in those 1900s. Is that what you're talking about?
The dark days.
Like, fuck off. So funny. It does not seem that. I mean, it wasn't that long. I mean, 20. Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah, we getting up there, homie. We've experienced quite a bit. I believe that as far as the generations go, we've seen the most.
Yeah.
Because we had everything our parents had, and then, I remember my dad. I still listen to vinyl records. I remember him listening to those all the time. And then I remember when tapes came out, and those were big. And like my stepbrother and stepsister would always make mixtapes recording the radio.
Yeah, I used to do that.
I wasn't too into that. I had a few cassettes. I want to say I was like 6 or 7 when CDs started coming out. My mom would get like the Columbia House.
Oh my god, I remember
You could
those.
buy CDs for like $4 or $5. They had like a list of them that you could purchase. Yeah, that's how I started getting into music.
Oh my god, before the internet, you get like catalogs in the mail.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Whole different lifestyle. Used to go to Blockbuster and rent movies.
That was fun.
And there was like actual competition between stores when Amazon didn't take over everything and put small business pretty much under.
Yeah. Be kind, please rewind.
And my mom had a special separate device for rewinding. That was the high-speed rewinder, so you didn't have to hold in the button on the VCR. You just close it.
My grandma had one of those. Oh, dude, I forget where this was. I think it was my neighbor's house. Their VCR, when you would fast forward, it would play audio. You'd be like, and it would say, I forget how it would work. It would like say, I think it would say things at like normal speed, even though it was fast forwarding, and then there would be a gap, and it would say something else at normal speed.
Weird.
So it would like catch you off guard, and they'd be all like talking fast, like talking. It was weird. It was funny. I'd never heard one do that before. It was really funny.
Yeah, that's crazy. Oh, on that topic, I've also heard certain generations referred to as the HDMI generations, which is funny too, because we had like the analog inputs. You had stereo, mono, all that jargon.
Yeah, it's crazy going from analog to digital just because like most of the time it's fine, but there's like gray area cases that are like that's where they really show their differences, because like an analog light, an incandescent light, is just a wire that gets hot, and if the voltage dips a little bit, it dims a little bit.
Yeah,
but with a digital LED, it's like cycling on and off like 10,000 times a second at 5 volts.
So you don't even
through like a digital converter. And like if the power surges a little bit, like you don't really see it, which doesn't matter normally. But like if you're diagnosing a car with a test light, or like you notice lights dim a little bit, and you're like you can like diagnose something a little bit.
Right.
It gives you more of an idea of something that's happening. And then like on the broadcast, there was like that static you would get on analog if it wasn't a good signal. But digital, I don't know if you've ever seen a bad digital signal. It gets like all blocky. Like big blocks. It's very interesting. It's almost like static, but in its own digital way.
Digital static.
But the thing that really bothers me about digital stuff is the connections having to like agree with each other. Because the old analog connections, as long as there was signal coming out and you plugged it in, it would immediately be on the screen. Like HDMI can like, there can be a signal, then you plug it in, it doesn't come on, you have to like unplug it and plug it back in. It has to like do a handshake. They both have to like agree that they're connected.
Yeah.
It's like, just do it. Just put it
the
on.
Thing.
That's what really, that's the worst part of it to me. Because there have been so many times I've had to like re-plug something in 2 or 3 times. And it's like it flashes on, the screen flashes black, then it flashes on. Like that never used to happen with analog. You just plug it in, it worked every time.
Yep, as long as you were on the right receiving channel or whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, back in those 1900s, man.
The dark ages.
Oh, dude, I was watching this podcast the other day. Speaking of the 1900s, there's this podcast where this guy was doing a tour of a museum. There's like these 2 gamers together doing a tour of a World War II museum. And one of them thought that the World War II was in the 1800s.
I don't know. It was just a long time ago.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. And he's telling, and they're like showing there's like a diorama of like a destroyed town, and he's like, the presenter is like, oh, this is what happens when like there's wars in like nice towns. Like the beautiful town gets all wrecked. It's like these beautiful like Italian, with the tile and everything is so nice. And it's just all just destroyed. And he's like, oh, that's so sad. He's like, the town got bodied.
Bruh.
Man, we're back in the 1800s, dude. They fucking bodied.
They got wrecked.
Dude, the kids' jargon, I love it. It's so fun. They're just in sweatpants talking about things getting bodied. It really is fun. They're like fun in like a silly way.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's really nice.
Manny's starting to do it. He started saying this Sigma and Riz in Ohio. You just sneak it in there. It's not an everyday occurrence, and it's not a steadfast part of his language.
Well, that's how it should be. It's like spice,
Like, what did you say? Dude. Not in this house. Get out of here with that nonsense.
You had told me he was sassy too, but I didn't realize it until I was there the other day, and he did like this to me.
He's king of sass when he wants to be.
He's like literally the opposite of me. I was such like a internally intellectually focused child. Like,
yeah, same. I was very introverted, and he's the opposite. He's a sassy extrovert.
He's gonna have fun with like friends in like high school and stuff.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be cool. Yeah. So we gotta hunker down for the winter.
We do. It's that time.
If you
The
don't,
days are extremely short.
make sure your door is not ajar and hunker down.
Make sure you ration your harvest.
Dude, speaking of rationing the harvest, that white widow over there that we grew, it's I wanted to quit weed and I did quit it for like 4 or 5 months. And I still want to, but the nice thing about this white widow is it doesn't really like get me like high really, you know?
Is it more of like a physical than a mental?
Yeah, it must be like low THC or something, like CBD or something. I don't know, but
I prefer that. I prefer.
oh yeah,
They there's a lot of companies that are starting to do like 1-to-1s, and you get both effects, and the THC isn't astronomical. That's the problem I had with a lot of the stuff that was going around, and even at the dispensaries is like you're talking, more than 25%. Some of these strains are getting up to like 32, 33%. You're just like fucking wrecked. It feels like I smoked an entire joint off of one puff.
yeah. And somehow when you're a kid, that's like enjoyable.
Yeah, you like to push your limits when you're a kid. You're invincible, more or less, when you're a kid.
It's weird. It like is actually like feels really good and it not bad at all. But when you're an adult, it's like, please stop.
Yeah. I don't know what happens. We get jaded as an adult. I heard something recently too that was like, where does our imagination go? We used to be able to draw and paint and write, and it was effortless, and we could make up stories and, had imaginary friends. And there's a theory that I guess your imagination still exists, but it gets put into anxiety. So in your mind, you create scenarios that cause worrying. Mm-hmm. And there's that kind of, it happens slowly in like the teenage years, and it's really pushed upon you by parents to meet expectations. So then you start getting this negative imagination, worrying about real world things that may or may not have happened.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I was actually thinking about that the other day. Imagination, because the cool thing about imagination is it's limitless, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because there's not many things in life that are limitless, really, that you have access to that are like have such creative potential. And